All right, so we're diving into a story today that's, well, a little different than our usual fare.
Hmm.
We're used to dissecting boardroom dramas and corporate power plays. But you've brought us something surprisingly heartwarming. This story about Ratan Tata, the industrialist, and his unlikely friendship with, what was it, Shantanu Naidu, right?
Yeah, Shantanu Naidu. It's definitely an interesting dynamic, to say the least.
It is. I mean, you got Ratan Tata, this titan of Indian industry, the head honcho of the Tata Group.
Right.
And then you have Shantanu Naidu, who is just starting his career, a young guy. When they first cross paths, it's not exactly the most conventional pairing.
Not at all. I mean, the age difference alone is pretty striking, right? But what's so compelling about this story, and what really comes through in that Brute India clip, is how this unlikely friendship began. They bonded over, of all things, a shared concern for stray animals and the elderly.
Yeah, it's kind of a ripped from the headlines kind of story, like you'd see it in a movie montage or something.
Totally. I mean, who would thought that caring for stray dogs and looking out for the older generation would be the bridge between these two figures from such different worlds? It's a powerful testament to the idea that shared values can draw people together, even when their backgrounds are miles apart.
It's true. Sometimes the things you might not expect to bring people together are exactly what BO do. Like, nobody goes into those situations thinking, oh, this shared passion for X is going to lead to a lifelong friendship. And yet, here we are.
It really makes you think.
And speaking of unexpected connections, we've got to talk about this nickname that popped up, Millennial Dumbledore. That's not a moniker you hear every day, especially not attached to a business leader like Ratan Tata. It's almost like he's become this, I don't know, almost mythical figure.
It's such an interesting comparison, right? It speaks to how Ratan Tata is perceived, especially by younger generations. I mean, Dumbledore, he's this wise, almost legendary figure, but also approachable. I think that really resonates with how people see Ratan Tata.
And it makes you wonder, right? Did this image of Ratan Tata as this mentor-like figure, did that influence how their relationship evolved into a professional one? Because if I'm remembering the clip correctly, Shantanu Naidu ends up working for the Tata Trust, which is a whole other level of involvement. That's not just grabbing coffee and talking about stray dogs anymore.
No, not at all. That kind of transition, going from a shared passion to a formal working relationship, suggests a deeper level of alignment, don't you think?
Yeah,
It says a lot about what both of these men value, their commitment to actually making a difference, to social good.
yeah. Okay, so we've got these two guys from totally different generations, different backgrounds, coming together over this shared passion. And then they even start working together. But what really struck me, and this was so clear in the clip, was the mutual respect between them.
Absolutely. Even when Ratan Tata is teasing Shantanu about his work habits, which, by the way, felt so natural and relatable, like any other friendly ribbing, there's this underlying current of affection.
100%. And on the flip side, you see Shantanu navigating that fine line really well. Ratan Tata cracks a joke, a little playful jab, and Shantanu, he takes it in stride. You can tell he respects the boundaries. Their friendship doesn't mean he's not going to treat Ratan Tata like the head of the Tata Trust.
Exactly. It shows a level of maturity and understanding that's not always present, even in relationships without that power dynamic.
It's more than just your average mentor-mentee situation. I mean, when Ratan Tata talks about wanting Shantanu to find happiness, well, that's not something you hear every day in the cutthroat world of business, is it?
You're right. It's really unusual. Mentorship, sure, that's fairly common, but this goes beyond professional guidance. This feels like genuine care, a personal investment that extends beyond the boardroom. That's what makes this relationship so unique.
This whole deep dive has been fascinating, really eye-opening. I mean, you start out thinking you're going to hear a story about an interesting friendship, which it is, but it really makes you think about those unexpected connections in your own life. It makes you wonder, what shared passions could lead to those kinds of bonds for us? What seemingly small encounter could blossom into something more meaningful? That's definitely something to think about.